We are currently studying the section on the difficulty of finding the freedoms and advantages. So far, we've covered the 8 states without freedom and the 5 individual advantages. Today, we move on to the 5 circumstantial advantages. When studying the section on the difficulty of finding the freedoms and advantages, it is not enough just to know the text content and the general interpretation. We must put the teachings into practice until this conviction arises. It is rare to have a human form. Now that I have it, I must appreciate it as much as possible so that it won't get squandered. The desire for the Dharma is very important in the process of study. Modern people like on-stage performances, such as singing and dancing. When a celebrity is touring, tens of thousands of people rush to buy tickets in order to see the celebrity in person. We should have the same level of desire about listening to Buddha's teachings, and we should be willing to do whatever it takes to listen to one Dharma lesson. Otherwise, if we are indifferent to the teachings, whether we listen or not doesn't matter. And sometimes we listen just because we're concerned about how others might judge us. Such motivation may not bring much benefit to ourselves. It may easily cost a college student a few 100,000 Chinese yuan to study at a top-tier university outside of China. A person I know studied international accounting overseas, and his bachelor's study cost nearly 200,000 Chinese yuan. However, the value of the worldly knowledge he acquired pales significantly in comparison to that of the transcendent Dharma. If tuition were to be charged to learn and practice the words of my perfect teacher, it is absolutely worth spending 800,000 Chinese yuan to receive the whole teaching. Hearing this, some people may be dumbfounded, saying, "That is way too expensive. If it were true, I would rather not study it and enjoy the money on something else." Actually, we should reflect on this. What can bring me the greatest benefit in this life and in many lives yet to come? If you understand each instruction in the words of my perfect teacher and properly put it into practice, you will gain something that is beneficial life after life. In contrast, the knowledge gained from a worldly degree may not be all useful. Nowadays, many university graduates, postgraduates, and PhDs, including those returning from abroad, cannot find a job or end up doing a lower-level job that requires no specific training. Of course, I am not self-promoting my teaching here. I am just expressing what I truly feel. Nowadays, many people devote themselves completely to wealth, fame, or simply making a living. But what help does such devotion ultimately bring? It is worth reflecting on this. The fact that you are able to receive the Dharma teachings in this life is because, on the one hand, the effect of your positive actions from previous lives has ripened, and on the other hand, you've seen through many worldly things. If you don't protect and cherish this opportunity well enough, it can be easily destroyed by various unfavorable conditions. It is like this. A person is safe and sound when penniless, but if they have a wish-fulfilling jewel, evil beings including Maras, Tirthakas, humans, and non-humans will rob it, causing them harm. Likewise, when you're studying the Dharma, someone may say to you, "Such study is of little meaning. I have another idea, and you should follow me." Some householders used to recite prayers and study the Dharma every day, but later on, someone kept on telling them misleading words, and eventually, many of those householders gave up their daily study and practice. What a great pity! However, practitioners with wisdom can't be disturbed by negative forces like Maras. The Prajnaparamita Sutra says, some bodhisattvas are possessed by Maras, some bodhisattvas are not under the control of Maras. Longchen quoted the scriptural evidence from the Sutra of the Great Heap of Jewels and explained the verse in this way. Bodhisattvas with both wisdom and diligence remain in the state of no self because they've realized emptiness, so the Maras cannot hurt them. As for bodhisattvas without wisdom, but with diligence, since they have not realized emptiness. Although they may appear diligent on the surface, they actually are in pursuit of self-benefit. So, the Maras can disturb their minds and bring harm to them. As for bodhisattvas with neither diligence nor wisdom, they are the type most favored by the Maras, so the Maras don't bother harming them as they are already under control. Therefore, lazy practitioners without wisdom may accomplish worldly tasks smoothly without encountering any difficulty. However, once they start practicing diligently, difficulties and obstacles start to arise one after another. This indicates that they have diligence but lack wisdom. But if they wear the armor of no self, then the Maras can do nothing to them. Thus, we'd better not listen to teachings in the same reluctant manner as when we have to work for a living. Instead, we should be so blissful, just like a critically ill patient drinking deathless ambrosia for a certain cure. With this right attitude, and the blessings of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Gurus, and Dharma protectors, we can definitely receive the benefits of the Dharma. When listening to teachings, be it in front of the teacher or through videos, we should first have great joy and respect. With such an attitude, the Dharma will invisibly bring real benefit to us. Otherwise, if we are indifferent when listening to teachings, the Dharma won't be of great benefit to us. Therefore, when we receive the Dharma, make sure we always have respect and joy. 2.2. The 5 circumstantial advantages. Let's first briefly summarize the 5 circumstantial advantages. Nagarjuna says, "A Buddha has appeared and has preached the Dharma. His teachings still exist and can be followed. There are those who are kind-hearted toward others." The 5 circumstantial advantages include the advantage of the presence of a particular teacher, the advantage of the teaching of the Dharma, the advantage of the time, the advantage of our own good fortune, and the advantage of the teacher's extraordinary compassion. When studying these 5 factors, we should carefully contemplate to see whether the content makes sense and whether human life is indeed very precious. The advantage of the presence of the particular teacher. If we were born in a dark kalpa instead of a bright kalpa in which a Buddha has appeared, we would not even hear of the names of the Guru, the 3 jewels, the 4 noble truths, the 12 links of dependent origination, and like. Now that we are born in a good kalpa where the Buddha has come, so we possess the advantage of the presence of the particular teacher. If we were born in a dark kalpa, we wouldn't have even heard the names of the sublime Dharma terms such as the teacher, the 3 jewels, the 4 noble truths, or the 12 links of dependent origination. Now that we are so fortunate to be born in a bright kalpa when Buddha Shakyamuni has appeared, we have the fundamental teacher providing us guidance. Otherwise, no matter how many cycles of birth and death we go through life after life, we are unable to attain liberation. Therefore, the advantage of the presence of the particular teacher is the first of the 5 circumstantial advantages we should appreciate. The advantage of the teaching of the Dharma. Although a Buddha has come, if he had not taught the true Dharma, we would not have benefited. Now, since the Buddha has turned the wheel of Dharma 3 times, we have the advantage of the teaching of the Dharma. Specifically, the first turning is about the 4 noble truths. The second is about the Prajnaparamita, the perfection of transcendent wisdom, and the third is about Yogacara and Buddha nature. After attaining enlightenment, the Buddha remained silent. Later, upon the requests from Brahma and Indra, the Buddha started to teach the Dharma. The Buddha didn't only rely on miraculous displays to benefit beings, as in the case of a Prayaka Buddha. Instead, the Buddha benefits beings through the extensive propagation of the Dharma. As we should know, the goal for the Buddha appearing in this world is to benefit beings through turning the Dharma wheel. Hence, Dharma teachers of the later generations ought to carry on the same legacy. Of course, There isn't only one specific way to turn the Dharma wheel. Sometimes asking someone to carry representations of the Dharma with them, or having them recite a Dharma text, is also considered a way to turn the Dharma wheel. For example, I suggest you often carry with you a copy of the condensed Transcendent Wisdom. Had I not explained it clearly, you might not have understood its meaning and might not consider it turning of the Dharma wheel. Now that I've told you, you know it well. Similarly, many of you started to use a prayer wheel, but if I hadn't mentioned the meaning of doing so, you might not have known. Therefore, it is extremely important that the teacher gives us authentic teachings so that we know how to behave in accordance with the principle of cause and effect. The advantage of the time. Although the Buddha turned the 3 Dharma wheels, had the Dharma disappeared after going through the fruit period, the transmission period, and the symbols period respectively, it would no longer bring any benefit to sentient beings. It would be similar to a school that stops offering classes but continues recruiting students. The students won't get any education at all. But now the Dharma still exists in this world, so we have the advantage of the time, the advantage of our own good fortune. Although the Buddha has come and taught the Dharma, and his teachings still exist, unless we take the Dharma path, the Dharma can be of no benefit to us. But since we have entered the door of Dharma, we possess the advantage of our own good fortune. Many people around us refuse to embark on the Dharma path. Such people are like those who die of thirst on the bank of a running river. However supreme the Dharma is, it can bring no help to them. As Buddhists, we are driven by various motives to enter the Dharma door. Some have developed faith in the Buddha, some turn to Buddhism due to family conflicts, and some wish for a better life, including becoming wealthy. Whatever the initial motivation is, we all end up knowing what the Dharma is really about. This is considered the advantage of our own good fortune, or the advantage of following the teachings. Some may wonder, if this is about our own good fortune, should it be counted as part of individual advantages instead? It is not. Here it is from the perspective of following the Buddha's teachings after taking refuge. It's because the Dharma exists that we are able to follow it, so this is considered one of the circumstantial advantages, the advantage of the teacher's extraordinary compassion. Even if we have the above-mentioned 4 types of advantage, without the favorable circumstance of being accepted by a qualified teacher, we would never come to know about the true Dharma. Some took ordination over 20 years ago, but know little of the basic monastic precepts. Some took refuge years ago, but know little about basic practices such as taking refuge, generating bodhicitta, or meditation on the difficulty of finding the freedoms and advantages. This is because they are not accepted by a qualified teacher who has both knowledge and realization of the Dharma. Even if they have the first 4 circumstantial advantages, they won't really understand the Dharma. But since a qualified teacher has accepted us, we possess the advantage of his extraordinary compassion. These 5 factors are referred to as the 5 circumstantial advantages because they need to be fulfilled in relation to circumstances other than one's own. Now, let's study each advantage in greater detail by following Nagarjuna's verse mentioned at the beginning of this class. A Buddha has appeared. Some people think the birth of the Buddha happens easily, which is not true. The Lotus Sutra says, all the Buddhas appear in worlds far away and are difficult to meet. Even if they appear in this world, it is difficult to hear their teaching. Even in innumerable kalpas, it is difficult to hear this Dharma, and those who are able to hear this Dharma, Buddhas are also hard to find. The commentary of the Mahaparinirvana Sutra says, first, it is difficult that a Buddha appears. Second, it is difficult to obtain a human form. Why and how is it difficult? We'll get the answers very soon. After studying this section of the text, I believe any wise person will understand why it is so rare and difficult that a Buddha appears in this world. As said in the treasury of Abhidharma, the time it takes for the universe to form, to stay in existence, to be destroyed, and to remain in a state of emptiness is called a great kalpa. Therefore, a great kalpa consists of the 4 periods of formation, continuance, decline, and disintegration. Each of the 4 periods consists of 20 medium kalpas. That means that a great kalpa is the equivalent of 80 medium kalpas. The length of a kalpa is very long. It is much longer than just 5,000 years, a few 100,000 years, or a few million years. Many people are not aware of the concept of time in Buddhism, so it is hard for them to accept the notion of kalpa. Nevertheless, we should still introduce it to them. They may be a little skeptical at first, but gradually their doubts will transform into right views. It is important that we don't carelessly slander or reject something we don't understand. Whenever I teach Buddhist concepts like the 3,000-fold universe or a great kalpa, I am concerned that someone may make careless remarks. A mosquito only lives a few days or weeks, so if someone tells a mosquito that a human can live up to 100 years, it has no idea what that means. Similarly, some people are bound to be doubtful of the concept of a great kalpa that may last over 1 trillion years. But this is understandable because the time expanse of a kalpa is so far beyond the understanding of ordinary people. A great kalpa in which Buddhas appear in the world is called a bright kalpa, whereas a kalpa in which a Buddha does not appear is called a dark kalpa. Here the key words bright and dark refer to whether the world is bright or not in terms dharma, instead of sunshine. Now let's check the number of dark kalpas and bright kalpas in the past, present, and future. In the past, during the great kalpa of manifest joy, 33,000 Buddhas appeared. After that, 100 dark kalpas followed. Then, during the perfect kalpa, 800 million Buddhas appeared. This was followed by 100 dark kalpas. Then, 840 million Buddhas appeared during the excellent kalpa, which was followed by 500 dark kalpas. In the kalpa delightful to see, 800 million Buddhas came into the world, and then there were 700 dark kalpas after. Then in the following joyous kalpa, 60,000 Buddhas appeared. In total, there were 5 bright kalpas and 1,400 dark kalpas. Although many Buddhas appeared during the bright kalpas, not a single Buddha was born during the many dark kalpas. Imagine the extremely large number of lifetimes beings had to endure without encountering the Dharma when they were born in a dark kalpa. Therefore, it's indeed very precious that we have a human form during a bright kalpa. In the present, 1,400 dark kalpas later, the 6th bright kalpa, the good kalpa, appeared. Before our current kalpa began, this cosmos of 1 billion universes was an immense ocean upon which appeared 1,000 petaled lotuses. The gods of the Brahma world, perplexed by this phenomenon, utilized their clairvoyance and understood that this signified that 1,000 Buddhas would appear during this kalpa. This will be a good kalpa, they said, and good became the name of this bright kalpa. This is also recorded in the Sutra of Great Compassion. From the time when humans' lifespan was 80,000 years and the Buddha destroyer of samsara appeared, and up to the time when humans will live indefinitely long and the Buddha infinite aspiration will come, a total of 1,000 Buddhas will have come to this world on the Vajra seat at the center of Jambudvipa. Each Buddha will have attained perfect Buddhahood there and turned the wheel of Dharma. Thus, our present kalpa is considered a bright kalpa. According to the treasury of Abhidharma, the period in which the lifespan of human beings decreases from incalculable years to 10 years and then increases to 80,000 years is considered a medium kalpa. There are a total of 20 medium kalpas in the kalpa of continuance. In general, Buddhas appear in the period when the human lifespan is diminishing during the kalpa of continuance. Then, how do the 1,000 Buddhas of the good kalpa appear in the world one by one? From the 1st to the 8th medium kalpa, no Buddha appeared. During the 9th medium kalpa, when humans' lifespan was 80,000 years, Buddha Krakuchandra, the very first Buddha of the good kalpa, appeared. When humans' lifespan was 40,000 years, Buddha Kanakamuni, the second Buddha of the good kalpa, appeared. When humans' lifespan was 20,000 years, Buddha Kashyapa, the third Buddha of the good kalpa, appeared. When humans' lifespan had dropped to 100 years, Buddha Shakyamuni, the fourth Buddha of the good kalpa, appeared. During the 10th medium kalpa, when humans' lifespan is 84,000 years, Buddha Maitreya, the fifth Buddha of the good kalpa, will appear. From the 11th to the 14th medium kalpa, no Buddha will appear. During the 15th medium kalpa, 994 Buddhas will appear one after another. From the 16th to the 19th medium kalpa, no Buddha will appear. During the 20th medium kalpa, Buddha Adimukta, the last Buddha of the good kalpa, will appear. By then, all the 1,000 Buddhas of the good kalpa will have appeared. More detailed information on the 1,000 Buddhas can be found in the Sutra on the 1,000 Buddhas' names in the good kalpa and the Fortunate Aeon Sutra, Bhadrakalpika Sutra. Presently, we are in the 9th medium kalpa when human lifespan is about 100 years. The teachings of Buddha Shakyamuni still exist presently. We are now living in this world and have encountered such supreme dharma. Have you ever reflected on this? If no, you should do so. Very often I think, we must have accumulated great merit in previous lives. Otherwise, how could we be so fortunate as to enter the Dharma door, while many others are still wandering? How incredibly fortunate we are. In the future, what will happen after the good kalpa? It will be followed by 60 peripheral bad kalpas, and after that, in the kalpa of vast numbers, 10,000 Buddhas will appear, followed by another 10,000 bad kalpas. To sum up everything, there are a total of over 11,000 dark kalpas and only 7 bright kalpas. The difference in numbers is gigantic. So, isn't it a rare occurrence for us to be born in a bright kalpa when a Buddha comes to this world? We should reflect on this carefully. As said, I am not going to rush through the text of the words of my perfect teacher, so you are not required to finish studying the text in a short period of time. As long as you keep in mind the teachings you receive every day and carefully and repeatedly contemplate the meaning, this will definitely benefit your practice greatly. During the alternating cycles of bright and dark kalpas, if we happen to be born in a dark kalpa, we can never even come to know about the 3 jewels, let alone practice the Dharma, circumambulate a stupa, put our palms together, and prostrate. Some of you belittle yourselves, thinking you are unintelligent and lazy. In fact, however lazy you are, you can still manage to conduct wholesome deeds on a daily basis. However unintelligent you are, you have no problem chanting Om Mani Padme Hum or reciting the name of Amitabha. Compared to those beings who live in the endless dark kalpas, you are already extremely fortunate. Moreover, the Supreme Vajrayana in particular is taught only rarely. Now that we have encountered Vajrayana, we are indeed very fortunate. The words of my perfect teacher is the Vajrayana or Mantrayana teaching, also known as the Tantric teaching. Some people ask me, when are you going to offer Vajrayana teaching? Alas, I am teaching you Vajrayana right now. Do you really think this text is not a Tantric teaching? Some other people request, can you give a Vajrayana teaching this year? The words of my perfect teacher encompasses the quintessence of all the Sutrayana and Vajrayana teachings. It is both a Sutrayana teaching and a Vajrayana teaching. It consists of both theory and practice guidance. Eminent masters, including the great Jigme Phuntsok Rinpoche, unanimously praised this text. Such an extraordinary text, like a precious wish-fulfilling jewel, is very rare to find in the entire history of humanity. Of course, if you were to ask me, when are you going to give the main teachings of Vajrayana? I will answer you differently. Otherwise, if your question is about when I will teach you Vajrayana, well, you'd better think again. Someone even asked me, may you please tell me whether I have the fortune to study and practice Vajrayana one day? Well, aren't you currently practicing Ngöndro? Do you actually think there is another kind of Vajrayana for you to practice? So, you do have the opportunity. As I have told you, if you have faith in Vajrayana among all the Buddha's teachings, or if you have faith in the doctrine of Prajnaparamita, or the teachings of the middle way on emptiness, it means you have an affinity with Vajrayana. In the Chariot of Surpassing Purity, the commentary on finding rest in meditation, Longchen says, although the vision of this fundamental nature of the mind is called by many names, Prajnaparamita, the perfection of wisdom, Madhyamaka, the middle way, pacification or stilling, Mahamudra, the great seal, Mahasandhi, the great perfection, and so on. The meaning is always the same, awareness, the all-creating enlightened mind, which is similar to space. Thus, Prajnaparamita, or the middle way, is the great perfection. Although they are not identical insofar as they differ in pith instructions, the fact that we have encountered such profound teachings with faith means we have all the fortune and merit to encounter Vajrayana teachings. You should know that although Buddhism thrives during bright kalpas, it is very rare that Vajrayana teaching is offered. So we have been extremely fortunate to have encountered Vajrayana teaching, including the words of my perfect teacher. As Padmasambhava says, long ago, during the very first kalpa, called the kalpa of the complete array, the Vajrayana teachings were propagated by the Buddha, known as Once Come King, and became greatly renowned. Buddha Shakyamuni also gave Vajrayana teachings. During the Buddha's time, Buddha Shakyamuni gave Vajrayana teachings including Kalakra, Wheel of Time, and Manjushri Namasamgiti, a concert of names of Manjushri. The Buddha also prophesied that after his parinirvana, Rigzin Kumaradza, King Indrabhuti, and others would propagate Vajrayana. Now Vajrayana is flourishing all over the world like the sun shining everywhere. Fortunate and faithful Vajrayana practitioners must put the Vajrayana teachings into practice. During the degenerate age, when other teachings and practices may not necessarily tame our mind, Vajrayana has extraordinary power. Today I chatted with a Khenpo, and we all shared the same feeling. For beings of the degeneration age, the Vajrayana pithy teaching of Trekcho, thoroughly cutting through, and other supreme instructions, such as those in the words of my perfect teacher, can directly cut through their conceptual fabrications. Longchen listed many great qualities of Vajrayana, saying that the conceptual thoughts and afflictions of beings in the degenerate age are hard to tame and eliminate, but through the pith instructions and skillful means of Vajrayana, these beings can quickly attain realization, just like a long-haul task getting done within a second. Padmasambhava continues, in the kalpa of the array of flowers, 10 million kalpas from now, the Buddha Manjushri will appear, just like how I have come now, to impart the Vajrayana teachings on a vast scale. This is because beings in these three kalpas are suitable recipients for Vajrayana. The reason why the Vajrayana teachings do not appear at other times is because beings of those times are unable to benefit from the teachings. Please be sure we all keep this Padmasambhava's teaching in mind. Sutrayana is rare and precious, and the Vajrayana is even rarer and more precious. Throughout the numerous kalpas and among so many Buddhas, only 3 Buddhas promulgate the secret mantrayana, or Vajrayana. Now we are in the era when Buddha Shakyamuni's Vajrayana teachings are extant, and we have the rare opportunity to study and practice those teachings. I hereby put my palms together and sincerely plead that you do not discard Vajrayana. Even if you are unable to generate strong faith, you shouldn't abandon or slander Vajrayana teachings. Instead, you must think in this way. The Vajrayana teachings are extremely profound. An ordinary person like me may not practice Vajrayana well, but Vajrayana teachings are definitely the object of my veneration, prostration, and offerings. If you uphold such an attitude of veneration, according to some tantras, you also have the opportunity for liberation from samsara. Recently, I was reading the commentary of the all-creating King Tantra, Kulaya Raja Tantra, the later part of which covers many great qualities of Vajrayana teachings. After reading this part, one can definitely generate great faith in Vajrayana. It can be difficult to fully understand the meaning of natural Rigpa in the Tantras, but just establishing a virtuous affinity with Vajrayana can already render great benefits. The all-creating King Tantra quoted scriptural evidence from the Great Treasures collection. Tantra, saying, "The practitioner who carries a tantric text with them is no different from an emanation of Vajradhara. The practitioner who chants mantras and reads tantric texts can experience the true meanings. The practitioner who handwrites about tantras enjoys the teachings of Tathagatas." The views, meditations, actions, and fruitions in Vajrayana are extremely profound. Even if you cannot realize and experience them completely, as long as you have generated faith and always accept tantric texts and Vajrayana sadhanas with veneration, this in itself can bring you incredible benefits. The definite meaning Tantra says, if one generates faith in Vajrayana and upholds it, all Buddhas will bless him. He will attain an endless treasury of fortune and merits, and achieve the fruition of the future in this lifetime. For example, originally it would take hundreds and thousands of kalpas for you to attain liberation. However, with the blessing power of Vajrayana, you may achieve fruition much sooner. It also says in the sky-like vast space Tantra, anyone who has faith in the ultimate Vajrayana and grasps the meaning of its doctrine can attain the fruition of the Buddha, even if they never practice, not even at the scale of a speck of dust. Therefore, even if some people are quite lazy, as long as they hear the doctrine of Vajrayana and receive the empowerment, they can already receive immeasurable benefits and merits. Why do many lay practitioners look forward to receiving empowerment? This could be the reason. Of course, not every teacher is qualified to give an empowerment, so we must carefully examine the teacher. Yesterday, a Dharma master told me, "I'm about to give tantric teachings this year. Now I truly understand that it is hard for one to receive a qualified empowerment." I teased him, "You have been studying tantras for so many years, and now you finally understand that it is hard to really get the empowerment?" What he said makes sense. It is very hard to really receive a qualified empowerment because a successful empowerment depends on the guru and the disciples meeting many requirements. If a guru simply pours water on your crown from a vase, you can receive the water, but it is hard to say whether you can receive the Samaya vow. When you study the Guhyagarbha Tantra, the essence of secret Tantra, in the future, you may wonder, I've attended many empowerment ceremonies, but I didn't have the required causes and conditions back then. Does it mean that I didn't receive the empowerment? It is very important that we have faith in Vajrayana no matter what. We must not carelessly slander Vajrayana. As an ordinary person, we don't have the qualifications or capacities to do so. Some people know nothing about the supreme doctrine of Vajrayana and its history. They just blindly follow others' wrong opinions. When hearing a tantric practitioner's faults, they attribute the faults to the tantric practice and condemn Vajrayana. If such a commentator is a Dharma teacher, then all his disciples may also hold a prejudice against Vajrayana. Nevertheless, things are much better now. Many Dharma masters who used to badmouth Vajrayana have changed their comments due to various reasons. Now they praise how supreme Vajrayana is. Of course, it is wonderful if a Dharma master can help promote Vajrayana, but even if the master cannot, we should nevertheless have veneration toward Vajrayana. Vajrayana is very profound, which you'll know after studying it. If some of you still have difficulties believing it, you are welcome to discuss the question with us Vajrayana practitioners. I have been studying Tantras for over 20 years. Although I dare not claim I've achieved very high realization, I should have no problem talking over the doctrines with those who have never studied Vajrayana teachings or who have studied for only a few years. As long as a person has solid evidence, this person may come face to face with us saying that Vajrayana doesn't make sense, or the sadhana, the way of practice, the Buddha's image, the subjugation, or the union practice doesn't make sense. Throughout the ages, many learned masters have clarified doubts about Vajrayana with clear explanations. Except for a very few unreasonable holders of wrong views, people who accept the right reasoning, be they Indians, Han Chinese, or others, can eventually generate genuine faith in Vajrayana. As we should know, at the ultimate level, Sutrayana and Vajrayana embrace the same views and focus on the same goal. Knowing this, we'll understand that various Buddhist schools and lineages do not contradict each other. As a result, no matter what we are studying and practicing, be it Sutrayana or Vajrayana, we will be very happy and will get along well with other practitioners. If we have the affinity, we can study and practice the most supreme doctrine of Vajrayana and its pith instructions. Many eminent masters are like this. Those who truly have the wisdom, master the practice, and have attained realization will never reject Vajrayana. By contrast, unlearned ordinary people often cannot accept Buddhism or other Buddhist lineages. To prevent committing wrongdoings due to ignorance, we should develop a sufficient understanding of the Dharma. All in all, please contemplate the above content on the bright kalpa and dark kalpa again and again. Studying the Dharma is not just paying lip service. Only when you have the feeling can it become easy for you to put it into your everyday practice and to explain it to others. Without such a feeling, Dharma can be very exhausting and painful for you to practice. For example, as a Larungar Sangha member, you are asked to practice in a solo retreat, so you have to sit at home because you are afraid of being caught by the monastery's overseer if wandering outside. Meanwhile, you find it very challenging to stay at home. You try to meditate, but really cannot concentrate, let alone have any experience. Alas, what a torture. In comparison, if we concentrate on the meaning of the Dharma, time will fly. A 2-hour meditation session will be over in the blink of an eye. As such, we will gain great benefits, and our conviction about the Dharma won't regress, even 20 years later, because the Dharma has truly merged into our mind. Otherwise, if we meditate in a superficial manner today, we may not even remember what we've meditated on tomorrow. This is not good practice, so we should reflect deeply on the teachings during our practice.